Welcome to van build number 51. This is our first accessible van that's a complete custom layout with a lot of very unique features. So we're really excited to go through this van with you today in this full van tour. If you're new to our channel, I'm Sarah. Me and my husband Alex build out custom luxury camper vans with our company Custom Crafted Vans. This is our 51st van build, which is pretty exciting. This is a 144 Mercedes Sprinter all-wheel drive, and this is a complete custom layout for our clients' needs. So I'm going to kind of go through the overall layout, and Alex is going to talk about more of the mobility things that we have in here, like the track on the ceiling and this wheelchair lift. So we'll go through all of that in a little bit, but let's talk about this layout. So one of the coolest things about this is having the Broad Arrow 860 bifold seat on the seat swivel. This swivels to this position so that you can open up the doorway here and be able to have a wheelchair right here, which is why we have L-Track installed on the floor. But then you can also swivel this to face forward if you're riding other people in your van. So very functional. It also becomes kind of a hangout space. So you can actually sit down here and hang out, look at the beautiful views out of your sliding door. Next up, we have their kitchen. So this has a 65-liter isotherm refrigerator, one small drawer for storage, and a deep stainless steel sink. This beautiful backsplash, which I actually think ties in the black counters with the white oak and the light gray. It just turned out really nicely in this van. Got a beautiful brushed nickel faucet, and then an upper cabinet spanning this whole length for storage. This is also where their electrical control panel and all of their switches are. Moving to the back of the van, we do have a bed space here for their daughter, and we were actually able to engineer this so that the head of the bed lifts up, and we did partition wall off the back of the van for extra storage, so we'll show you that in a minute. But in the rear, they also have a little bit of storage underneath this bed area for their Trillino toilet, and then we added an outlet up top so they can plug in a baby monitor back there. They've got some switches and controls and charging, and then back to the front we have even more storage with the headliner shelf above the front cab. As far as climate control goes, we do have a vent fan. We have the diesel heater underneath the passenger seat, and then we have the Dometic RTX 2000 air conditioner in the rear right over the bed area. That way they can keep things nice and climate controlled in here. So now let's move toward the back of the van and talk about some of these extra features that are kind of right in my face.
So this van is designed for a family that has a daughter that they're going to be traveling with, who is obviously in a wheelchair and has special needs. So with this, they had a list of requirements that they wanted to have in the van. And one of these was in the back, having this bed area. This van is essentially her safe, climate controlled environment that they could take this van and travel and go to kind of national parks and places like that. One of them would be able to explore while the other one is with their daughter, and she's in this environment that's climate controlled where she can be really comfortable and safe. So in the back, we have this bed space for her that you can see we did engineer this on a switch with a motor so that the head lifts up, kind of like a sleep number bed. And this is where she'll be hanging out a lot. So we did put the air conditioner right above here for climate control for her. One of the other requests that they had was when they have their daughter in here, to be able to help transition her from her chair to the bed. Over time, that's a lot of lifting for somebody. So we did engineer and install this track. So they will have a lift that they already have that they're going to install on this ring to be able to lift their daughter from her chair and then be able to slide her back to the bed area to be able to set her in her bed. So it's just going to help them from taking some of that weight off and that use of constantly having to lift her and transition her into the bed. In the van, we also installed L-Track in the floor. They use a Q-straint, which is a special kind of a latch that allows them to clip that into the L-Track on the floor and then to be able to lock their daughter's chair into place while they are driving. So that was a super important feature for them. And then we obviously have the lift itself. So this is the SuperArm 2000 lift system. And what's nice about this system is that it doesn't require a ramp. So you don't actually have to have as much space on the side of the van to lift someone in and out with the chair. So this is the first time we've done this. There was a lot of custom install work on this van and honestly a lot of things that we had done for the first time. But I think that it really turned out to be very functional, which is what we needed for them. And it also just looks beautiful. I think that we were able to tie these things into the overall layout and the aesthetic. And I can't wait for these guys to have this. So let's talk about the electrical and plumbing systems. This is a 144. And when you have a garage space and a bench seat and all of these other accessories that we have in here, to be able to fit the plumbing and electrical was definitely a challenge. But they do have 30 gallons of fresh water inside the van that goes to the sink and an outdoor shower. And they also have a 15-gallon gray water tank underneath the van on the driver's side. They also have a 2.5 gallon water heater as well. So they have hot water at the sink and hot water at the outdoor shower. For the electrical system, they have 810 amp hours of Battle-Born lithium battery that's all controlled and tied in with Victron components to the Serbo touchscreen here. So they have 60 amps of alternator charging, so 2 Orion DC to DC chargers, as well as 200 watts of solar up on the roof and a 3000 watt Victron inverter charger. So they can charge via shore power, the solar and alternator charging when they are driving. So this is going to give them plenty of power to be able to run the air conditioner and the climate control for their daughter, to be able to provide all the needs that she has and keep her comfortable in here as well. So let's go around to the back because I want to show you the garage space and some of the exterior upgrades we did as well. So at the back, we did build in this partition wall with 3/4 inch white oak. We're going to be adding L-track for a customized storage here, but we're actually waiting for the clients to pick up so we can put it exactly where they want to. So one of the fun benefits of being a custom van builder, we can work directly with the clients to have everything exactly where they want it. So they have storage space down here in the middle in between. They also have this ledge. Like I said, we're gonna put L-track and be able to put storage bins or whatever kind of bags he wants to be able to put here and mount more stuff up on the wall. We also have access to the electrical and plumbing systems. So we have the plumbing system over here on the driver's side. They can reach in here and grab their fill hose to fill their 30-gallon freshwater tank. And then on the opposite side, we have their electrical system. So through here, they can access their master kill switch, fuses, the inverter, all of that fun stuff directly through this door. We also did add a light back here. And then we also have the outdoor shower. So they do have hot and cold water coming through the outdoor shower. So we are in Boise, Idaho, and we are up at Lucky Peak where we always film all of our van tours, and it is super windy today. But we want to show you on the back, we have the accessories from Flatline Van Co. on the back of this van. So we have their spare tire mount here on the driver's side. On the passenger side, we have the Flatline Van Co. base unit and the Flatline Van Co. box. One of my favorite things about this box is that it has 2 shelves and 2 doors. So you can open up the top compartment and you have a shelf here that you can access just what's on top, or you can open up the bottom section to access what's underneath. And then this also makes this nice table area. So everything that you are trying to access, you don't necessarily have to take it out and put it on the ground to get to something. You can actually set it here and you've got this little table. So let's go around and show you some of the other upgrades we did on the outside, because this is only a 144, it is an all-wheel drive, but because of the amount that we put into this van, we did also beef up and replace the rear leaf spring with the Van Compass OptiRate leaf spring for the 2500 Sprinter. We have the Flatline Van Co., their high mount roof rack, and this actually allowed us to install the Fiamma F45S manual awning on this side as well. For accessibility, we also installed these running boards on both the driver and the passenger side, just to make it easier with that 4-inch lift to get in and out of the vehicle. And then on the front, we did install some truck bed spray on the hood. These clients have actually had a 170 extended Sprinter for years that they've been traveling in. They wanted to downsize to a 144 to make it easier to access trailheads, but one of the things that he had wanted based on his experience with his first van was actually to have this truck bed spray to help prevent rock chips and things like that on his hood. So on the roof, we already talked about our 200 watts of solar that we were able to install onto the Flatline Van Co. roof rack. And then we also installed the WeBoost on the WeBoost overland mount so that it can flip up or flip down, so you're not always hitting that on branches when you're driving down the road. Overall, this was one of the more challenging builds that we have designed and completed for these clients. Again, number 51, we're very excited for them to be able to pick it up and to use it, and hopefully it helps improve their quality of life and that for their daughter as well, so that they can adventure and travel with her. If you guys like this build, please leave your comments or questions down below, and we will see you guys next time.